Welcome back, everybody. Today for review we have the H&K VP9, the long-awaited return to the striker-fired system by H&K. What we're going to do is keep putting some rounds down range, step inside, talk about the pros and cons of it, some of the unique features of this gun, and then I guess what I think of it overall. But that's what's coming up next. For now, we'll try to keep putting a few rounds on steel. Let's take a closer look at it here. First off, we'll make sure it's safe. You want to drop the magazine by hitting the mag release here, and notice it is ambidextrous and you push down on it. Some folks aren't going to like that, but I actually kind of prefer that European style release to the push button. If you're not used to it, you really will get used to it relatively quickly. I'll lock the slide to the rear. You're going to turn the takedown lever 90 degrees here, and according to the manual, you should be able to just remove the slide without pressing the trigger. Sometimes I found that works, sometimes it doesn't. We'll see here real quick if it works this time. There you go, worked like a charm. After that, you just take out your spring and guide rod. Notice there it is a steel guide rod. And one of the innovations on this pistol is the recoil spring here. It's a flat recoil spring, and HK claims that it helps with the soft shooting impulse of the gun. And after shooting it, I can definitely attest it works as claimed. While we have it apart, we'll go ahead and look at the barrel. As you can see, it's 4.09 inches long. It is cold hammer forged like all HK barrels, and it does have that polygonal rifling in there. So that way, those of you guys who shoot a lot of lead reloads, you just need to be careful with it. Make sure you don't get a lot of buildup in there. You'll notice it does have the modified Browning lockup system, as most modern pistols do. Now to put it back together, you just reverse the order that we took it apart. Put it in there. You want to make sure this flat piece on your guide rod is forward. So this little nub right here is going to be towards the rear of the pistol. Slide it in there. If I can do it on camera, we'll see. There we go. And we're just going to slide it back on the rails. While we have a part here, I'll point out these rails. You can see very heavy steel all the way through. On the back, there's little pieces, but in the front, that locking block area, very, very heavy steel. My guess is right now there's not a 40 that's been announced yet, 40 caliber version of this, but due to the heft of that, my guess is it'll probably be coming down the road. Either that or it's just classic HK where they like to overbuild things. One of the two. Either way, you just slide it to the rear, lock it back, rotate your lever, let it go home, and the pistol's reassembled. Getting into some of the details of the pistol here, one thing you'll notice on this, there is a full-length 1913 style Picatinny rail, and that's going to separate it from the P30. A lot of things are going to be very similar across the board, but the P30, as you see here, doesn't extend all the way out like it does here on the VP9. Now, for those of you that already have holsters for your P30, that may or may not fit the VP9. Particularly Kydex ones may have an issue. Now, leather ones, you'll probably be okay. You might not be. Really, the only way to know is to try it out. But moving on to the rest of the features of the pistol, up front here, you'll see on both sides, they have excellent cocking serrations. Obviously, HK VP9 on the slide. Moving back here, good cocking serrations on the rear as well. And then one thing that kind of sticks out a little bit, we'll let you see it from the back, is these pieces that are sticking out on the side. Those are called charging supports by HK. And what they allow you to do is when you're running the slide on the pistol, you can really grab it, whether or not you're doing it either way. It's going to give you a good purchase on the pistol. Now, if you don't like those, they are removable. In order to do it, you just remove the rear sight. They do come off. Without anything else on there, though, you will have a little bit of a gap. But HK is coming out with sort of a plug that's going to fill that gap and make it flush with the rest of the slide if you choose to take them out. When you get the pistol in, it comes in this nice hard box here, and as you can see, it has all the cutouts for the extra mag that comes with it. Speaking of mags, there are two 15-round mags, and they are identical to H&K P30 mags. So for those of you guys that already have those, you're in luck, because you can use those mags in this gun. They are the exact same magazines. Again, 15-round magazine. One thing you're going to notice here is all these different back straps and side panels. In total, there are 27 different combinations that this gun can be set up with to fit your grip properly. Now, without question, one of the things that attracts most people to this gun and attracted me to this gun is the ergonomics of it. It reminds a lot of folks of the PPQ, which we'll get into a little bit here in a bit, but that's a good thing. The PPQ is well known for its excellent ergonomics, and this gun, easily as good, perhaps a little bit better with the variety of grip panels that you can put on there, as well as back straps, but it just fits your hand extremely well and just points naturally. On the rear of the pistol, we have this cocking indicator here, and the gun is decocked right now, and you can see when I cock it, that red piece sticks out even more. When you fire the pistol, it releases. As to whether or not that's necessary or preferred, many of you guys will just look the other way at it and not think twice about it, which is kind of what I did. But it's there for those of you guys that are concerned with it. Some people might like it, but that's what it is. The pistol does have a loaded chamber indicator. If you look here while it's unloaded, you'll see that the extractor is flush. When you load around in there, you'll see there it does protrude slightly, and it's also red, so you can see it in when you have light, and you can tactily feel it when you don't have light, the low light situation. The slide release lever on the pistol is ambidextrous, but it does look different on each side. So you can see over here on the left hand side of the pistol, you actuate it like that. On the right hand side of the pistol, it's a little bit longer. So for you lefties out there, you're gonna have an easy time releasing the slide. It's not gonna be an issue for you. I know a lot of folks are gonna like that. The sights on the pistol are gonna be 3-dot sights. These ones here are their luminescent sights, so you can charge them with light and they will glow for a little while. However, they are not tritium. So there is plans for a tritium model that's coming out. There is a SKU number for it already. So when these hit the market, supposedly in mid-July, you may see that option. But what you see here is just the all steel luminescent sights. When news of this pistol came out, one thing that everyone was talking about was the trigger. HK's promotional video touted it as being an excellent trigger. No doubt about it, after putting some rounds through it, it absolutely is. Has a little bit of take up, but it's very smooth throughout the whole take up period. Then it breaks right at about 5 pounds. But however, it's crisp and it feels lighter than 5 pounds. Like if you compare that to a Glock trigger, it's going to feel a lot lighter. But that's just because it's clean. One thing to point out too is where it breaks. If you take a look here, this is the trigger all the way in the rear position. Now take that in mind while we're looking at the PPQ, which is always touted as having one of the best striker fired triggers. And you can look and see just how far rear that trigger is. Personal preference thing, but I like the position of the H&K better. It just seems like there's less travel overall. Not that the PPQ is bad at all, because it certainly isn't. And comparing the two side by side, I would say the PPQ is a little bit cleaner at the break, maybe a little bit crisper, but the uptake on the PPQ is definitely not as smooth as the VP9. Now, in reality, are we splitting hairs? Yeah, we are. Either way, the VP9 trigger is going to feel excellent if you're used to M&Ps, Glocks, any of the other pistols out there, probably besides the PPQ or maybe the new SIG 320. In terms of size comparison, the VP9 is somewhere between a Glock 19 and a Glock 17. I guess we'll show you that here with the Glock 19. Do the size comparison, just kind of lay it on top. And you can see how they stack up. A little bit longer in the grip and the slide. And side by side, they're pretty similar. Now the controls of the H&K hang off a little bit more, but you're probably not going to notice that in day-to-day carry. Compared to the PPQ, similar kind of thing. It's going to be a little bit longer in the slide, as you can see there, and a little bit longer in the grip. Side by side, yeah, I'd say they're pretty much even. Maybe the PPQ, maybe a little fat, I don't know. One day we'll get the calipers out, I suppose. And M&P, this is the full-size 9mm. Those you guys compare it to. You can see there as we stack them up, pretty similar there in the grip. The M&P's just a touch longer in the slide. Those of you that follow me over on Facebook know that when I first posted the pictures of this, first got a look at it, one thing I was questioning was the high bore access of it. And without question, compared to like M&Ps or your Glocks, it has very high bore access. However, after putting some rounds through it, it's really not an issue. The recoil system that H&K uses on there with the spring that we talked about earlier, as well as the steel guide rod, it comes back on target extremely well. The sights track well, and you can definitely get quick follow-up shots with it, so I really don't think it's much of an issue. It has an excellent trigger like we just talked about. It has a great hostile environment finish, which is really just the nitriding. Very durable stuff. You certainly can't complain about it. And the MSRP is $719, so when it gets out into your gun shops, at least after the initial rush that I'm sure will be coming, you'll probably be able to find it in the mid-600s. So certainly nothing to complain about there. You have an H&K quality pistol. It's been 100% reliable. It's accurate. The only thing in terms of negatives, if you will, that I could say about it is this particular gun shot a little bit high, maybe 2 inches at 15 meters, but I'm not going to complain about that because as soon as you realize it, you can just adjust and drive along. If you guys have any questions about this gun though, or anything else I talk about here on the channel, you can always post below in the comments section. You can also post over at my Facebook page as always. But thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and I hope to see you guys in the next video.
Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America, and long live the Republic. Woo!